Hello, my name is Dante Renee, and welcome to the 10 Room Bizarro YouTube page where I talk about films that I believe need to be talked about more. Like tonight's film, this is 2020's CRESTONE. I believe that's how you pronounce it. An actual location. You can look it up on your map. CRESTONE. From 2020. There's some alternate artwork here. I really like the way these photographs are taken. You actually see the way these photographs are taken in the film. The lighting, the, I don't want to say filter. It's just the kind of photograph it is. It's real earthy, real analogy. It's like taking a flash photo in the dark. You probably have some more insight into what that's actually called. You can let me know. 2020 was a crazy year, obviously. Between right before, March and then after March. I don't exactly know when this was released. But CRESTONE reminds me of the kind of films that maybe Jim Morrison was making. If you saw the Doors film by Oliver Stone, you saw that, in the film Jim Morrison was doing like a student film or something. But there's a certain vibe, and there's a certain vibe on Jim Morrison's, I believe it's called the American Prayer album, which is filled with his kind of spoken word poetry and the music of the Doors behind him, and some original pieces for the American Prayer album, and then kind of in snippets from existing Doors songs. CRESTONE kind of has that aspect of what if a Jim Morrison film was made, but in the modern era, right? And it really gave me that sense, because there's an element of this film that is very poetic. There's an element that's very spoken word. There's an element that is this a real documentary? Or is it a mockumentary? Or are elements real and other elements are fabricated? What's real, what's not? The best in mockumentaries has always focused on that. The real and the unreal. You look at let's say Faces of Death, and you say, well, we put a bunch of fake stuff in there and one real thing, and the whole thing becomes real. And then you similarly to something like Cannibal Holocaust, we have a fake film, but you have the actors actually kill real animals, and the whole movie's real. CRESTONE has a documentary feel to it, and it has a poetic feel to it. And it doesn't hurt the fact that it takes place in the desert. And there's a contradictory clash in this film about spending time with people who have purposely distanced themselves from modern technological society and have moved out in a communal position, as opposed to the modern, one person per apartment, a communal position in the desert, away from modern technology, to live together, to get their water together from, half a mile away from a local stream, and to live in abandoned houses and cook together and clean together and scavenge together, get things together. But here's where the things get clashy. They are also SoundCloud rappers, and they are making rap music there with studio equipment in the desert, and they are posting the music online, and they have social media accounts. They even have a GoFundMe where people can not only give them money for this new way of living, which could be the future of living, but also that people on social media are welcome to go join them. And we have almost in a way a Lord of the Flies type of idea, but not, where we do have a leader, someone who has started this, and we have this clash, you know. They're tattooing each other, you know, covered in tattoos. They kind of have the SoundCloud rapper look. And the movie, much like a Jim Morrison student film or Jim Morrison surrealistic art house film that he would have made, it's also filled with their music. I don't want to say filled, but there are sequences that almost act like music videos that they might, maybe that's what they're posting on their social media sites. But when it's not their very impressive hip hop, I would say bass music, heavy trap type hip hop, when it's not that, it's some very emotional, mystical, avant-garde sounds of, yes, the Animal Collective group. And that's, you mix those two things together, the band Animal Collective and you know, kind of a modern hip-hop bass heavy sensibility, and you have quite an oral sound, not oral, quite an auditory soundscape in here. And things move slow. There's an element of feeling what they're feeling in a desert. But our narrator, I don't think is ever seen. Where is our narrator? The narrator seems to be someone who has taken the step to go join them, to check it out, to investigate, to do some journalism on this group. And it's a voiceover of sorts, but there are no interviews really. Not that I can recall in the traditional documentary sense. But it's almost as if our narrator at times did it in post. And CRESTONE becomes something where you are quickly meeting individuals, real kind of individuals, you know, people who have left to go to the desert. You're spending a little time with each one. And you're seeing also the idea of different personalities and unity through diversity. You're getting a little bit of their story. You're getting a little bit of their process. You're getting a little bit of their writing. And something that is very, very evident is the importance of creativity. Creativity bonding people. Creativity as a commune. A commune where before food, before scavenging, before housing, really creativity is the central focus. Being an individual, but being an individual amidst a commune of others together. Being an individual together. CRESTONE also gets into some darker elements where there is kind of the downfall of this way of living as well, and the frustration, the temperature, and even the element of the end of the world. The end of the world. Do people in modern technological society think about the end of the world more than someone who lives in the desert? Or is it the opposite? There is a sucker punch in this film of a cave, of a bit of spelunking. Is this real? What happens inside of that cave? It gets a little bit dark. It's a bit of a sucker punch. It's almost a bit of a genre shift for a second. And there's a mysterious man, but a joyous, mysterious man who's riding on a bike. He's riding on an electric bike. Someone who has also distanced themselves from modern technological society, but he's on his own journey solo. Will he make it? Were we meant to be dirty? Were we meant to be more dirty than we are in our clean society? Bacteria, viruses, just grime and dirt and sweat. You know, not a shower every day with high-tech soaps and shampoos and conditioners and lotions. It made me think about just the aspect of health issues. How someone in that situation would be able to get medical help. CRESTONE is a journey. It's a snapshot of a journey of people you might not know in your day-to-day life. But not only people, but an entire world. You see the darkness, but you see the sun of the desert as well. And it gets a bit dreamy. It gets a bit surrealistic. It gets a bit quiet and it gets a bit weird. This is 2020's CRESTONE. And yes, there is marijuana in here.